What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and today I'm going to be going through a bit of data that RSBuddy has on its website regarding clue scrolls. From the data, I'm going to come to some conclusions about the rarity of certain items, and I'm going to talk about the average loot that you'd get from clue scrolls and a couple of other interesting points. So as I said, I'm on the OSBuddy website, or RSBuddy as it's better known as. And if you go to the Tools tab here, there's a couple of things here. I want to talk about the raids one in a separate video, but here there is a clue scroll one, which I'm on right now, and it basically tells you a summary of all of the loot that has come from clue scrolls, the average, the best, how many's been completed, and it also gives you the number of items from each clue that has been completed, and on top of that, it tells you the most recent clue rewards that have come into Old School. And that's in real time as well. If I sit here for a little bit, you'll see that more just keep popping up. Now, it's really important to note here, though, that this data only comes from people that are using OSBuddy. So there is no way that I can come to a complete conclusion on the clue rewards in Old School, but I can actually come to conclusions about the ratios of certain items from a clue, and from that, you can get the rarity. And yeah, so let's get into the data. I'm going to start off talking about the global summary here, and this basically tells you about every single clue scroll completed using an OSBuddy account. I'm not sure how long ago it dates back to, but this seems like it's been here for a very long time. You can see here that there's been 11.6-ish million clue scrolls completed with an average loot of 139k. If you go down to each tier of clue scroll, you can see how many of each one's been completed, and hard by a mile has the most completed. But the funny thing here is the average loot from a hard clue is pretty much the same as the average loot from a medium clue. Since Ranger Boots, if you go down here, Ranger Boots, there has been 13,000 of them brought into the game. But then if we go to the hard clue one, there's only about 160 or so, 130 to 160 of third age items being brought into the game. And third age is not as expensive as it was. It's not as good of a loot as it was before, and I think that kind of contributes to the fact that mediums and hard have a very similar reward amount. Now, something really interesting here is the total loot from all clue scrolls is 1,619 billion, so 1.6 trillion GP has been brought into the game from clue scrolls alone. But it's kind of questionable, that number, because if we go down here, the best clue reward is from a medium clue scroll and 5.55 bill from one clue scroll. And if we have a look, there's legit nothing in here that would be worth 5.5 bill. I think the reason why that one is there is because when new items are released into the game, the Grand Exchange sets them at a ridiculously high price. And I feel that someone might have got lucky with maybe a cabbage shield or something like that, and the price of it in the Grand Exchange or the OSBuddy traded price was really, really high, and it basically just completely threw off the data. Now, that's the same with hard, but elite and master, that's somewhat precise, because in elite clues you can get the third age longsword and the third age cloak and the wand and the bow as well, and they're very expensive items, so that one's kind of reasonable. And then master has a lower maximum loot than elite. And the reason for that is the only third age items you can get are the third age axe and the third age pickaxe from master. You can't get any of these third age items from master. So I'm guessing on the release, when the first third age axe and pickaxes came out, they were that much, but I don't think they're anywhere near as much as that anymore. But it's still pretty interesting to see. Now, if we compare the elite and master rewards, you can see that if you add up all of these numbers of the third age items, that's something like in the hundreds. But if we go up here, there's only 23 third age items that have been rewarded from master clues. And since the master completion rate is about half of that of elite, you can kind of conclude that elite clues give a lot more third age items than master clues. But in saying that, they give these other items like the Anku outfit, the mummy outfit. I guess the elite clues substitute for that is gilded, but in hard, there is a lot of gilded items, so it's kind of hard to compare the two, but it's somewhat interesting to see that a master clue doesn't really give as many third age items as an elite clue. Now, if we scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, there is a section talking about the loot from all levels of clue scrolls, and these rewards can be rewarded to any clue scroll at all. Now, something which completely blew me away is 12 bill in cash alone has been brought into the game from all clue scrolls, which is a lot of money. And another pretty interesting point here is that the U composite bow is a lot less rare than the Willow composite composite bow, which is weird because Willow is worse than you, and then the magic one is even less rare than the Willow one as well. Another point, in the 11.5 million clue scrolls that have been completed on the OS Buddy website, there is about 73,000 of each God page, and I added up all of these numbers here in all of the God pages, and that added up to be around 1.75 million pages in total. And judging from the 11.5 million, that means that the drop rate of a God page is 1 in 6.6, which is really a really common drop rate. You can conclude that the rarest item to get from an easy clue scroll is the monk robes. The monk robes, there's only 370-ish of each one, and there's no other items that are about that rare, apart from the large spade, but that's only rewarded to you after you do 500 easy clue scrolls, so that's kind of disregarded. Now, looking at the medium clue rewards, you'd expect the things like ranger boots and holy sandals to be like one of the rarest items you can get, but if you look at all these other items, they have very similar numbers to the other ones. So if you did a clue scroll and you happen to get, let's say, some armor trimmed, mithril or adamant, or you got miters, god capes, any of these items here, you had an equal chance to get a ranger boots drop. And you can see that a lot of these items are in the 13 to 14,000 mark, so you can conclude that the drop rate for all of these is very much the same. Now, having a look at the hard clue scroll awards, you can easily conclude that the rarest items here are the third age items. There's literally nothing else here that is in the hundreds, but all the third age items are around the 140 to 150 mark. I did a few calculations, I added up all of these numbers, and then I divided it by the number of hard clues completed, and I found that getting any third age item, so it could be any third age item, the chance of getting that is 1 in about 3,000. It's a little bit under that, but it's approximately 1 in 3,000, which is very rare. And then looking at all the other items, you can see that they're all around about the 18,000 mark, and that's pretty much for all of them. All of these items here, the rune items, of course, there's a lot of them. But the things like the ranging god boots and even the Robin Hood hat, all of the god ranging armor, all of the different types of rune here, there's all about 18,000 of them, so they all have very similar drop rates. Now up here, if we look at the Gilded Armor, there is about 1,000 of the regular Gilded set, but over here there's only about 600 of the other Gilded items like the Medium Helm, the Hasta, all of these ones. And I think the reason for that is because these ones were released slightly after these ones were made. So I think the drop rates will eventually catch up, but they're obviously always going to be about 400 behind. One last interesting point from the hard clues is the amount of food that has come into the game. With sharks alone, there has been 14 million brought into the game, and that's about 14 bill in worth of sharks, so that is a lot of sharks that has been made. And one more, I'm not really sure why, but extended anti-fires, there's only 30 of them that have been brought in. They must be very rare. I don't know why that's on there. Now, next up is the Elite Clue Scrolls. And it may seem that Third Age is very rare from an Elite Clue Scroll, but I did some calculations, and it's about the same as the Hard Clue Scroll rewards. It's about 1 in 3,000. It's actually slightly rarer judging from these numbers, but still, it's somewhere in the realm of 1 in 3,000. Now, if we look at some of the other drops, there are a lot that are around the 2.7k mark. All of the ornament kits, all of this armor here, and the Ranger's Tunic is in the 2.7k area, which is really interesting because that used to cost quite a bit. I think it dropped in price though. And similar with the hard clues, Gilded Armor sets are rarer than the other average drops that are in here, but still not as rare as Third Age. Another pretty weird thing is buckets. There's 55 of them that have come in from Elite Clues, so I'm guessing that's some sort of troll drop. Now the last one to talk about here is the Master Clue Scrolls, and you can see that Third Age items are very rare from Master Clue Scrolls, and the other items, pretty much all of them revolve around the 1.7k drop rate, except for the things like the ornament kits here. There's 400 of them approximately per God Sword. Things like the Mummy outfit and the Anku outfits, there's about 100-ish of them coming in of each piece, and judging from the fact that there's about 238,000 master clues that have been completed, these outfits here, the Anku and the Mummy outfits, getting one piece from them is approximately a 1 in 200 drop rate, which isn't that bad. But to get a Third Age axe or a Third Age pickaxe, the drop rate is 1 in 12,000. In saying that, the prices of them don't really reflect in comparison to things like the Third Age longsword, the Third Age cloak, but still, They are pretty expensive. But anyway, to conclude, the drop rate for 3rd age items in hard and elite clues is much the same, but in masters it is a lot rarer. Another point is that medium and hard clues have very similar average loot, but the potential from hard clues is a lot more because you can get 3rd age items which are quite a bit more than ranger boots, but it seems that since there's so many ranger boots coming into the game, the average from a medium clue scroll is about the same. So basically, if you're looking for money, medium clues seem to be the way to go. But if you're looking to get lucky with something really rare, perhaps an elite or a master clue will get you there. But anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in terms of clue scrolls today. Now it's time for clip of the day. ConcernMask here was doing 99 mining at the Blast Mine from level 90, and he shows off his loot that he got getting to 99, and he totaled himself 87 mil. And that just goes to show how profitable mining really is. Part of the same submission, he shows off his Ultimate Iron Man account where he got the beaver pet at level 24 woodcutting. What? Anyways guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And as always, thank you so much for watching and have a nice day.